Mr. Hersey teaches his algebra students to use what's called the X factor to factor trinomials. And Mr. Josart teaches them to do it the logical way that we do. We try things, go, okay, for this to be positive and that to be negative, they both must be negative. Because a negative times a negative is positive, negative plus a negative is negative. So there's good and bad with both. It's good that you have that practice with the logic, that you're understanding where they came from. But when this number's like 24 and you have lots of choices, it takes a long time. So both methods are good depending on the problem. So today I'm going to show you how to factor a trinomial using what's called the X factor. And I'll show you first and then I'll give you the notes, okay? So here's how we do it. I go crisscross applesauce, okay? Now I'm going to fill in this X factor using this. And I'm going to say the leading coefficient is going to be called A. This middle coefficient, negative 17, is my B. And the constant is going to be C. Okay? Now, at the top, I'm going to put in A times C. I'm going to multiply A times C and put it at the top of my X factor. And at the bottom, I'm going to put in the B. Now, in this problem, what does A times C come out to?
AC.
4 times 15 is
60.
So my A times my C is going to be 60 in this problem. 60 goes here. And in this problem, what is the B? Negative 17. Okay? So, these sides, I'm going to put in the numbers that multiply to 60. But they add up to negative 17. What would multiply to be 60 and add up to be negative 17? Yes? 12 and 5?
Negative 12.
Negative 12 and negative 5? Does that work?
Yeah. Yep, it works.
See, negative 12 times negative 5 is positive 60. Negative 12 plus negative 5 is negative 17. This works. Okay, now, I'm going to take this middle term, negative 17, and rewrite it as the sum of negative 12x and negative 5x. So I'm going to take this, negative 17, I'm going to say negative 17 is negative 12x, or negative 12c, and negative 5c. Okay? The first term stays the same, the last term stays the same. Now, remember when we did that group factoring? We took the first two terms, we factored something out. What would factor out 4c squared and negative 12c? What factors out of both of those? The GCF would be 4
C.
and c. Let's factor a 4c out of here. So factor a 4c out of here, I'm left with, what goes here?
C.
C. Factor a 4c out of here, and I'm left with
Negative 3.
negative 3. 4c times c is 4c squared. 4c times negative 3 is negative 12c. Now we're going to factor something out of here. What would factor out of here?
5.
5 would factor out of here and here. But remember, we want the binomial to look like this. And if I factor a 5 out, I'll end up with a negative c. So I actually want the inside to be a positive c. So what should I factor out?
Negative 5.
Negative 5. Negative 5. Factor a negative 5 out of here, I'm left with c. Negative 5 times something, positive 15.
Negative 3.
Negative 3. Okay? Now, sometimes we have to switch these around because nothing factors out of both terms. You'll have to play with these two to make sure that something factors out of both. Happened to work this time. Now, what do you notice about the binomials?
They're the same.
They match. This binomial match, so it's like adding like terms. This is the same as this, so we add these coefficients together, this one and this one. We say it's 4c minus 5 times C minus 3. There you go. There's your answer. A binomial times a binomial, that'll come out to that. Okay?